Hello, so today we are going to solve this problem, which is part of Leetcode daily challenge. Delete columns to make sorted. So basically we get a set of strings and we arrange them one on top of the other like this. So we get ABC, for example, BCE, CEA. And what we want to do is delete the columns that are not sorted. So what do we mean by column here? So column is basically going top down in those strings. So for example, ABC is the first column, BCA is the second, CEE is the third. And so what we want is to delete those that are not sorted, but by deleting here they just want us to give us the indices. So just return the indices of the columns that are not sorted. So suppose this is the indexing 0, 1, 2. And so which ones are not sorted? ABC is sorted, BCA is not sorted, so we need to return 1, and CEE is sorted, so we just return 1, and that's what we see in this first example. So that's the idea. Now how do we implement it? Well, it should be pretty straightforward. How many columns we have, right? We know we have the strings are the same length, so we have n, the length of any string we take, that's the number of columns, right? And so to get the character from the first column, we just take the first string and we take the index of the column, right? So this would be 0 here, and then the second one, the index of the column, the third one, the index of the column, right? And so yeah, pretty much that's how we do it. And once we have the columns in a list, each in a list, we can just check if they are sorted, right? So how do we do this? So first we need the number of columns, which is just the length of one of the strings. So let's just pick the first one. And then we need to go through for each column. So this would be range of n. And we need the list of our columns that we are going to check. Okay, and then here what we need to do is we just take a list, initialize a list for each column. That's the list we will be adding to. So this would be range of n, and this here we will need to do columns of I, and we need to append the string at that index, right? This will give us, for example, for column 0, this will give us the first string. Sorry, actually, we need to go through each string and get the letter in that index, right? So that would mean we will add here s of I. So that would be the letter in that index. And once we do that, we can just, now we would have all the columns in. So let's just print it out to make sure this is working properly. So if we take a look here, you can see for the first example, which is this one here, right? We get C, D, J, which is the first column, and then B, A, H, which is the second column. So that's working. And then also the last one, A, F, I. Right, so that's working. Now we just need to check that it's sorted. So we just need to go through every column and count those that are not sorted, right? So how do we do that? So we just go through every column, right? And then check if the sorted version is different than the column. That means the column is not sorted, and so we need to count it as to be deleted. So we count 0, and then we increment here, and then we return the count. Okay. And that should be good. Let's submit. And that works. Now, a slight modification we can do. The way we are doing this here is basically just taking the other direction, right? We are taking this here, and in Python you can do that with a sort of a transpose. And to do that, well, you could just take zip with a star the list of strings, and that will give you the transpose version of the string, which will give you the column. So if you consider this a matrix, doing this will, on the matrix, which is a list of rows, will give you a list of columns. And so that's what we can use here, and basically just get rid of this, and just check sorting like this. Now just one thing here is that this column will be returned as a list, but this one is a string, so we just need to make it a list so that the comparison works properly. So let's check this, let's submit, and this passes as well, right? Yeah, you could also just improve this slightly, or if you just want to do like a list comprehension sort of thing, you could just do the sum of these, like this, instead of counting each time, right? And just return that. So this should work properly as well. And we can just return this. We can just return this, and if we run this and submit, it passes as well. Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for today's problem.